Negara maju ada gaji tinggi, sistem canggih, teknologi hebat, tapi peliknya, ramai orang tinggalkan semua itu dan pilih Malaysia. Kenapa? Dalam logik biasa, negara maju sepatutnya menjadi destinasi terakhir manusia. Gaji besar, kemudahan lengkap, peluang tambahan. Namun realiti dunia hari ini mula menunjukkan corak yang berbeza. Ramai profesional, warga asing dan bekas penduduk negara maju mula memilih Malaysia sebagai tempat untuk hidup, bukan untuk bercuti, tetapi untuk menetap. Ini menimbulkan satu persoalan besar. Jika negara maju sudah ada segalanya, apa yang masih kurang sehingga Malaysia menjadi pilihan? Jawapannya bukan satu. Ia gabungan perkara kecil yang hanya difahami apabila seseorang benar-benar hidup di Malaysia. Pertama, negara maju kaya, tapi kehidupan mahal. Di banyak negara maju, gaji tinggi datang bersama kos hidup yang menekan. Sewa rumah mahal, makanan mahal, perkhidmatan asas mahal. Akhirnya, walaupun pendapatan besar, kehidupan terasa sempit. Di Malaysia, pendapatan mungkin sederhana, tetapi kehidupan masih boleh diurus. Dan itu sangat penting. 2. Negara maju laju, tapi meletihkan. Di negara maju, hidup adalah perlumbaan tanpa henti. Kejar produktiviti, kejar prestasi, kejar masa. Di Malaysia, hidup masih ada ruang untuk bernafas. Tidak semuanya perlu disegerakan. Tidak semuanya dinilai dengan angka. Ini membuatkan ramai orang rasa lebih hidup bukan sekadar bekerja. 3. Keselamatan emosi yang hilang di negara maju. Ramai orang tidak sedar, keselamatan bukan hanya tentang jenayah, ia tentang ketenangan emosi. Di Malaysia, interaksi sosial masih wujud, senyuman masih biasa, manusia masih bertegur. Di banyak negara maju, manusia semakin terasing walaupun sistem sempurna. 4. Malaysia lebih mesra kepada manusia biasa. Negara maju sering dibina untuk sistem. Malaysia masih dibina untuk manusia. Kesilapan kecil masih boleh difahami. Masalah masih boleh dibincangkan. Ini membuatkan hidup terasa lebih ringan. 5. Bahasa bukan penghalang besar. Malaysia bukan negara Inggeris rasmi, tetapi komunikasi jarang menjadi masalah. Bahasa Inggeris praktikal membuatkan orang luar boleh hidup tanpa rasa terasing. Ini faktor besar. Kenapa ramai boleh menyesuaikan diri dengan cepat?
Here's 5 reasons why we love Malaysia.
And why we keep coming back.
The food. Malaysian cuisine has to be one of the best foods that we've had in the world. They offer a variety of food from Western, Indian, Chinese, Thai, everything. And every place that we've been to has been absolutely epic.
Number 2, affordability. You can get an apartment with a fully equipped kitchen, gym access, swimming pool, and high-speed internet, all for under $25 a night.
The people. People of Malaysia have been so kind and hospitable. Everywhere we've traveled to, it's the people that made us live the country more and more.
The diversity of things to do here, from modern luxury cities with amazing green space to island life with some amazing beaches and some of the best scuba diving spots in the whole world. Being Muslim, life in a Muslim country is so much easier with halal food all over the place and mosques everywhere.
And you've even got washroom and play facilities in the restaurants. And a bonus one, guys.
There's so much to do here as a family.
Like, I've travelled a bit. I went to Morocco, I went to Egypt, I went to Turkey. I owned a place in Turkey thinking Turkey was going to be my destination. But Malaysia was nowhere on my cards. And I'd never, ever been to Malaysia as a Muslim country because I didn't like the idea of travelling 14 hours on a plane. And then when my brother said, fine, I'll go with you, I have a laugh with my brother. We could spend hours together and you won't even realise it. And as soon as we got there, 3 days in, even he said it. This is it. This
felt right.
It just felt right. It just felt like we were sitting inside an apartment looking outside London rooftops. And so that, with everything else that we'd already seen, that was when we'd done a few days in Malacca, and then not Malacca, KL, and then we went to Malacca. But Malacca was just, I don't know what it is. I just feel Allah guides you. I have to say, my doorway to Tawakkul opened up 2019, 2020. And it's not an easy process, is it? If you have it, it takes time for you to completely let go. Even now, when things are occurring, and then I think, no, just crack on with it. Just leave it. Allah's going to deal with it.
The 5 reasons why Japanese like Malaysia. The first one, the food is super delicious.
Number 2, transportation infrastructure like train or bus is amazing in Malaysia as well. Number 3, since Malaysia is a multinational country, so you can experience so many cultures and people and food. Yeah, I love it. And also it's easy to go abroad because like AirAsia LCC is so many flights in Malaysia to any other Asian country, so we can easily go there. Number 4, the rent is cheap in Malaysia compared to Japan. To be honest, the price of their stuff is also same as in Japan, actually. But the rent is cheaper than Japan. Number 5, after all, Malaysian people is so kind. Thank you, Malaysia.
6. Kepelbagaian yang tidak meletihkan. Malaysia berbilang kaum dan agama, tetapi kehidupan berjalan. Perbezaan tidak sentiasa menjadi konflik. Ia menjadi kebiasaan. Bagi mereka yang datang dari negara yang terlalu tegang dengan isu identiti, Malaysia terasa menenangkan. 7. Makanan sebahagian daripada kehidupan, bukan kemewahan. Di negara maju, makan di luar sering dianggap mahal. Di Malaysia, makan adalah rutin hidup. Murah, pelbagai, mudah, makanan menjadi faktor besar. Kenapa orang luar rasa selesa hidup lama? 8. Budaya kerja lebih seimbang. Malaysia bukan sempurna, tetapi budaya kerja masih memberi ruang untuk hidup. Masih ada cuti, masih ada masa keluarga, masih ada kehidupan di luar kerja. Ini sesuatu yang semakin hilang. Di banyak negara maju. 9. Malaysia tidak memaksa orang menjadi sempurna. Negara maju sering menekan untuk menjadi terbaik sepanjang masa. Di Malaysia, hidup sederhana masih diterima. Tidak semua orang perlu menjadi luar biasa untuk dihormati, dan bagi ramai orang, ini sangat melegakan. 10. Akhirnya, Malaysia memberi rasa cukup. Tidak terlalu mewah, tidak terlalu miskin, tidak terlalu laju, tidak terlalu perlahan. Cukup untuk hidup, cukup untuk bekerja, cukup untuk bernafas. Dalam dunia yang sentiasa menuntut lebih, cukup menjadi sesuatu yang sangat bernilai. Negara maju memang ada segalanya, tetapi segalanya tidak bermakna. Jika kehidupan terasa kosong, Malaysia mungkin bukan destinasi impian di atas kertas, tetapi dalam realiti, ia menjadi pilihan. Bagi mereka yang mahu hidup sebagai manusia, soalan terakhir bukan, kenapa ramai pilih Malaysia? Soalan sebenar ialah, adakah dunia mula sedar bahawa kemajuan tanpa keseimbangan bukanlah kejayaan sebenar?
I used to think Malaysia was poor. I'm not going to lie to you. When I first heard about Malaysia, I thought, okay, it's a developing country. It's behind Singapore. It's struggling like the rest of Southeast Asia. I thought Malaysians were just getting by, just surviving. But then I came here, and what I saw shocked me. What I learned changed everything I thought I knew. And today, I'm going to show you 3 things, 3 realities, that prove Malaysia is not poor. You're not struggling. You're thriving. And most of you don't even realize it. The first reality is about your economy. The second is about your wealth. And the third? The third is going to hit you emotionally. Because it's about something money can't buy. Stay with me. Because by the time I reveal that third reality, you're going to see Malaysia, and yourself, completely differently. Let's start. Reality number 1. Malaysia's economy is not what you think. Let me tell you what I thought before I came here. I thought Malaysia was poor because that's what the media shows. They show you traffic. They show you old buildings. They compare you to Singapore and say, look how far behind you are. So I believed it. I thought Malaysia was struggling. But then I looked at the numbers. And I was shocked. Malaysia is the 36th largest economy in the world. Out of 195 countries. You're in the top 20%. And here's the part that blew my mind. Malaysia's GDP is bigger than countries like New Zealand, Portugal, and Ireland. Countries that people think are rich and developed. Your economy is $400 billion. That's not small. That's not poor. That's powerful. But let me go deeper. Because the real story isn't just the size. It's the diversity. Malaysia doesn't depend on one thing. You're not like Brunei with just oil. You're not like Singapore with just finance. Malaysia has oil and palm oil and electronics and tourism and manufacturing. You export semiconductors to the world. You feed the world with palm oil. You built an entire tech hub in Penang. You're one of the top 10 exporters of electronics globally. Do you understand what that means? It means when one industry struggles, you don't collapse. You adapt. You survive. You thrive. That's not poverty. That's resilience. But here's what really got me. Malaysia's middle class. I walked around KL. I went to Penang. I visited Johor. And everywhere I looked, I saw people living well. Not barely surviving, living. People own cars. People own homes. Families eat out multiple times a week. Kids go to private schools. Parents take vacations. You know what percentage of Malaysians are middle class? Over 50%. Half of you are middle class or higher. Compare that to India, only 20% middle class. Compare that to Indonesia, barely 25%. Compare that to the Philippines, less than 15%. Malaysia has built one of the strongest middle classes in Asia. And you did it in one generation. Your grandparents lived through poverty. Your parents built the foundation. And now? You're living in comfort. But because you see Singapore's wealth or hear about Western countries, you think you're poor. You're not. You're just comparing yourself to the wrong people. And that's the first reality. Malaysia is not an economically poor country. You're an economic powerhouse that the world quietly depends on. Reality number 2, Malaysians are not broke, you're richer than you think. Now let's talk about wealth. Personal wealth. Because I know what you're thinking. Okay, maybe the country's economy is strong. But I'm still struggling. I'm not rich. Let me show you something that's going to change your perspective. When I compare Malaysia to other countries I've lived in, Malaysians have something most people don't: access. You have access to affordable food, access to affordable housing, access to healthcare, access to education, access to safety, and access is wealth. Let me prove it to you. In Malaysia, you can eat a full meal for RM5-10. Nasi lemak, roti canai, nasi kandar, cheap, delicious, everywhere. In the USA, a basic meal costs $10 to $15 minimum. That's RM45-70. In the UK, a meal costs £8 to £12. That's RM50-75. You're eating for a fraction of what people in rich countries pay. And it's not just cheap food, it's good food. You're not sacrificing quality for price. You're getting both. That's wealth. Let's talk about housing. Yes, property prices in KL are high. I'm not going to pretend they're not. But compare Malaysia to other countries. In Malaysia, you can still buy a decent apartment for RM300,000 to 500,000. In Singapore, you're paying SGD 500k to 1 million, RM 1.5 to 3 million, for a tiny HDB flat. In Australia, you're paying 600,000 Australian dollars and above, RM 1.8 million, for a basic house. In the USA, in cities like New York or San Francisco, you're paying 500,000 US dollars to 1 million and above, RM 2 to 4 million. Malaysia is still affordable. You can still own property. You can still build wealth. And that's rare in today's world. Healthcare. You complain about government hospitals. I get it. They're crowded. They're slow. But you know what? They're affordable. You can see a doctor for RM1. You can get surgery without going bankrupt. I've met Malaysians who had major operations and paid less than RM 10,000 in the USA. That same surgery costs $50,000 to $100,000, RM 230k to 460k. People go into debt for life. In Malaysia, you walk out and go home. That's wealth. And if you want private healthcare, it's still affordable. RM 100 to 200 to see a specialist. In the USA, that's $200 to $500, RM 900 to 2.3k. Malaysia's healthcare system, even with its flaws, is something most of the world envies. Education. Malaysian public universities are cheap. RM 3,000 to 10,000 per year. In the USA, university costs $30,000 to $70,000 per year, RM 138k to 322k. In the UK, it's 9,000 to 30,000 pounds per year, RM 56k to 187k. Malaysian students graduate with little to no debt. American students graduate with $50,000 to $100,000 in debt and spend 20 years paying it off. Which system sounds richer to you? You're not poor. You're just not counting your blessings. Before I show you the third reality, the most emotional one, I need you to do something. If you're Malaysian and you're starting to realize that maybe, just maybe, you've been underestimating your own country, hit that like button right now. And drop a comment telling me which state you're from. Let's see how many Malaysians are watching this and waking up. Because the third reality I'm about to show you is going to hit different. And I need you ready for it. Now let's continue. Reality number 3, Malaysia's real wealth is something money can't buy. This is the one that shocked me the most. And it's the one that's going to make you emotional. Because Malaysia's greatest wealth isn't your economy. It's not your middle class. It's not your affordable cost of living. It's your people. It's your culture. It's your ability to live, not just survive, but actually live, in a way that most of the world has forgotten how to do. Let me explain. I've lived in countries that are richer than Malaysia on paper. I've lived in places with higher GDP, better infrastructure, cleaner streets. But you know what they don't have? Community. Happiness. Balance. Humanity. In Singapore, people are rich. But they're lonely. I've talked to Singaporeans who told me they don't know their neighbors. They work 60-hour weeks. They're stressed, burned out, and isolated. In the USA, people have money. But they're scared. Scared of healthcare bills. Scared of gun violence. Scared of losing their jobs and losing everything. In the UK, people are developed. But they're cold. Literally and emotionally. People don't talk to strangers. Community is dead. But Malaysia? You have something they don't. You have mamak at 2 a.m. where strangers become friends. You have neighbors who check on you. You have aunties at the market who give you extra vegetables because they like you. You have a culture where if someone is hungry, you feed them. If someone is struggling, you help them. If someone is alone, you adopt them. That's not poverty. That's richness. I've watched Malaysians complain about your country while living lives that most people in rich countries dream of. You have time for family. You have time for friends. You have affordable food, affordable healthcare, affordable housing. You live in a tropical country where it's warm year-round. You don't need to spend thousands on heating or winter clothes. You have diversity without war. You have 3 races, 3 religions, 3 languages, and you make it work. Do you know how rare that is? Most countries with that much diversity are at war. But Malaysia? You share tables. You share food. You celebrate each other's festivals. That's not just wealth. That's a miracle. Here's what I realized. Malaysia isn't poor. Malaysians just have a different definition of wealth. You measure wealth by community, by food, by family, by balance. The world measures wealth by money, by status, by competition. And because you see the world's definition on social media, on TV, in movies, you think you're failing. But you're not. You're succeeding at something more important. You're succeeding at being human. And that's the reality that shocked me. Malaysia is rich in the things that actually matter. Let me tell you a story. I was at a mamak in KL. Late at night. I was sitting alone, working on my laptop. An old Malay uncle walked over and said, "You okay, boss? You look tired. You want teh tarik? I buy for you." I didn't know him. He didn't know me. But he offered. Just because. That doesn't happen in New York. That doesn't happen in London. That doesn't happen in Tokyo. But it happens in Malaysia. Every single day. And you think that's normal. But it's not. It's extraordinary. And it's something no amount of money can buy. So here's what I need you to understand. Malaysia is not poor. You're not behind. You're not struggling. You're thriving in a way that the rest of the world has forgotten how to do. Yes, there are problems. Yes, there's corruption. Yes, there's inequality. Yes, there are things that need to improve. But don't let those problems blind you to what you have. Because what you have is rare. What you have is valuable. And what you have is something that people in rich countries are desperately trying to get back. If you're still watching this, I need you to do something. Hit that subscribe button right now. Because I'm going to keep making videos that remind you of what you have. That remind you to stop comparing yourself to countries that have money but have lost their soul. And share this video with another Malaysian. Especially one who's always complaining. Let them see this. Let them remember what they have. Here's my final message to you. The next time someone tells you Malaysia is poor, ask them this. Poor in what? Poor in money? Maybe compared to Singapore. But rich in community. Rich in culture. Rich in humanity. Rich in the ability to actually enjoy life instead of just chasing it. That's not poverty. That's wealth. Real wealth. The kind that lasts. The kind that matters. And Malaysia has it. You have it. Don't ever forget that. If you made it to the end, comment below and tell me one thing you love about Malaysia that you'll never take for granted again. Let's remind each other why this country is special. Because Malaysia isn't poor. Malaysia is proof that there's more to life than money. And that's the reality that shocked me.